So we are here, man. It's good to talk to you. You know, this has been a very exhausting, a very trying year for a lot of people. But I think one thing we've learned in the year 2020 is to try our best to find the silver lining, right? And obviously you've been able to do something by now publishing not your first book, but your second book, right? That's what I'm talking about. That deserves some applause right there.
The purpose of the book is really to give leaders a foundation. Obviously, there's so much material in regards to leadership, right? It's a saturated topic, and there's a gamut of material, articles, information, and books out there in regards to that topic. So, by no means am I saying my book is the end all, right? Because as a leader, we should always be wanting to learn and grow and develop. But I look at my book, The DifferenceMaker Leader, and I understand how there are a multitude of industries, right? Whether it's aerospace, whether it's manufacturing, hospitality, education, and in those industries, they each have their own nuance or fresh kind of, perspective of handling different situations. So obviously by my book, there's no way I can handle in a concise way all of those particular instances or industries. However, what I can do is give the foundation. And I think my book really gives readers the leadership rhythm. It's almost like a song. You know, it's like when you're provided, an artist or a singer is given the instrumental, oftentimes you give an instrumental, and then the instrumental can make or break the song. So if you're given a good instrumental, the beat is good. It's there. It's there. You can feel it. You can stomp your feet. You just feel the beat. And so it's up to the singer or the artist's job to obviously have the right voice modulation, the right series of words, the right tone in their voice, and that ultimately curates the masterpiece. So my book, I believe, gives readers the leadership beat. So it's up to the leader, I believe, to ultimately manipulate the information in a way so that whatever industry they're in, they can ultimately create the final masterpiece.
Absolutely, man. That was good stuff, wasn't it? Yeah. Y'all should hear them behind the camera. They was like, yes, Lord, good, yeah, all of that. You know, one thing that you just said, Austin, that really caught my attention when I had an opportunity to read the book myself, is that it's very concise. Now, I work in journalism. I like to have my information quick. You know, we are a very different generation now. We don't always like to have a 976-page book. You know, so this is something where it truly gets straight to the point. And being concise, I know is important, but I noticed how you were talking about team leadership and personal leadership. Why is that so important for people who are truly becoming leaders?
Right. So team leadership and personal leadership is very interesting because obviously, well, first let me explain those. So personal leadership really deals with following a set of internal principles that guide one's own life. Team leadership means following a certain set of principles to guide or manage other people's lives or lead a group of people. Oftentimes, we ask upon leaders, many leaders, to lead others who grapple with leading themselves. So I believe we have to first address our own self. We first have to address leading ourselves before we have any kind of idea of leading anyone else, right? So with personal leadership and team leadership, each chapter I give 5 timeless ideas. And each of these ideas are interesting because it really serves the duality of both personal and team leadership, meaning the reader can read the principle, understand the principle, and inculcate not only in their life, but also in the lives of those they lead. So obviously, you can't expect as a leader to have a standard for someone else that you can't live by yourself. So this book gives readers the standard so that they can then expect that standard of excellence in those in which they lead.
You know, Austin, we live in a day now, honestly, where we have so many people who have become very creative. And, so we have probably more authors now than ever been before and whatnot. And I know that there may be other leadership books out there. But what makes yours a bit different than maybe something else we can find on Amazon?
Right. That's a great point. And it kind of speaks to what you just said prior, dealing with it being concise. I think my book is different because it really is an amalgam of being concise yet powerful. So concise, as you kind of alluded to, obviously won't take someone months, years to read the book. They can read in a short period of time. And in curating this book, I really tried to listen to the tune of this country. And in listening to the tune of this country, I've realized that many people are busy. Like, people are busy. They got to go here. They got to go there. I got to do this. I got to be here. And people, in some cases, are working 3 or 4 jobs. Some people are working 50 hours a week and still trying to attain a master's. Then you have some people who are leading single-parent households and have 5 children they have to raise. And then you have some people who are working a 9 to 5 to pay the bills, and they're working a 6 to 9 to ultimately create their own dream or their own future with their own entrepreneurial venture. So people are busy. So because people are so busy, the last thing anyone wants to do is waste time. And time is so precious because no matter how successful you are, no matter how much money you have, that's something you can't buy. So I'm very careful and cognizant because I don't want the reader to feel like they're wasting time. I want them to get that value in real time in spite of the busy schedule. And when I look at time, it's really 3 things I would say people look for in their extra moments of time, outside of work, when they have their own spare time. I would say 1, they want to be able to do something that makes them feel good, relax, have fun, do something joyous that makes them laugh. 2, I would say something that relaxes them, something that almost, I would say, detoxes them from society, where they're in silo and isolation from other people and getting rest, getting their own, what we like to call me time. And then 3, I would say people in their time in their extra time really like to be able to advance not only conceptually but physically, to be able to heighten their skill set, to do what they're doing at a higher level, more efficient, and ultimately enrich the human experience. So I believe my book really pinpoints the third one, advances obviously the conceptual piece of leadership skill sets. And so by that being the case, obviously that's why I consider it to be concise, because it won't take someone long to read it. And then I want to say it's powerful because you can inculcate these in real time, these ideas. And I also just want to add, or I just want to say, listen to this, okay? Like, someone could, because again, it's concise, somebody could read this book on a Friday and go to work Monday a different person. That's why it's powerful.
And then the life that we live, like you said, time is very precious. So we don't have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months to start putting some action behind the things that need to just take place in our life. So if you see that this could be, and I'm telling you because I've actually read this just throughout the weekend. It is such an easy read. And one of the reasons why it's easy, that I found it was a little easier to read, was because you use this different method that a lot of authors don't always use, storytelling. You made it personable. And personable is literally what people, that's what we want nowadays, okay? We don't want to hear just all this, these different things that you came up with and whatnot, but make it make sense to us because it's something that you've lived through. And that's what you did. Why was that your method?
Right. Brooks, I really consider myself a storyteller. I like to tell stories, and I really enjoy it because I believe stories stick. The stories I share, right? Like, the reader might read a story, and I'm talking about education, right? Something dealing with education. And the reader or the leader might think, you know what, I'm in aerospace. I'm not in that same industry. Or they might read a story where I'm talking about something dealing with the sports and entertainment industry. And then the leader might say, okay, you know what, I'm really in hospitality, or I'm really in manufacturing. That's not my industry. So that may not relate to it. I painted the stories in a way where it's broad enough for the reader to still extract the value in their own given circumstance. I want to share this with you, and I think it's really a fascinating story I actually heard a couple years ago. It deals with a toothpaste company. And the toothpaste company is a big, I would say big corporate company. Can't recall the name, but it was a big corporate toothpaste company. And they had a new line of toothpaste coming out, and they had some issues with making the film white for the customer. They had an issue with that. They're really struggling with that. So they went to look or study a detergent company, a big detergent company, contrary to what many people might think as far as figuring out a solution. And they studied this detergent company because they realized They had a track record of basically washing and drying apparel, making it spotless white, like squeaky clean white. And they saw the process, they studied the process, they understood the nuance and the elements in hand, and they figured out, okay, I see how we can do this with the toothpaste in a safe way for our customers. The stories I shared, again, you can still extract the value, the nuance, the subtle details, and apply no matter what your niche is as a leader, no matter what your industry is as a leader, and ultimately inculcate these ideas and ultimately enrich your leadership journey through the stories that I shared.
Absolutely, and that's what it's about. You know, there are some points that you make in the book, obviously, and we're not going to tell you everything, because you need to read it for yourself, all right? See, sometimes they think they're going to get everything. We're not going to give y'all everything. Y'all have to get the book to get everything. But one of the things that I did notice you were talking about, you know, the leader formula. And there are some other things that relate to, you know, those questions and whatnot. And what exactly, hint, give us a hint now. Don't give us everything. I know you're not going to give us everything. But give us a hint of kind of like that leader formula, because I think that's important for people to even understand, are you really a leader? And you know, and if you are a leader, how do you become a better leader?
Right, definitely. So that formula is the DifferenceMaker Leader vision formula. And basically this formula is directed towards achieving or accomplishing one's vision. I really believe, obviously, and something I really talk about in our workshops and through our keynotes is having a vision. I think if you don't have a vision, you're simply going through life blindly. And I think many people have visions, but we often wrestle with the clutter that detracts us from achieving our vision. So I created this formula to give people a simplistic way to achieve their vision by using some of the things that are around them, that are internal, that are external, that they can be within reach to ultimately achieve their vision. So it really gives people a step-by-step plan to eliminate the clutter, to eliminate the noise, and ultimately achieve their vision that they're striving for. So that's as much as I can give, but I definitely recommend learning about it, because I've seen the results from people who have been able to use the formula so far.
Absolutely. All right, that's all we're giving y'all. That's all we're giving y'all. So y'all, can we give it up for my guy, Austin Franklin, for what he is doing and this incredible book. And a little later on, you will all have an opportunity